Hola, hola, estamos esperando a el señor Fabio Frizzi en mi canal de YouTube. Cristian Landaeta por acá, les saluda. Por fin vamos a conversar con este hombre que es tan conocido y tan popular y tan seguido por sus bandas sonoras para el cine de Lucio Fulci. This is a special opportunity for me. I discovered Fabio Frizzi back in the mid-80s with his music scores for the movies of Lucio Fulci and a very particular type of movie that I'm not a big fan of, but hope to have fun. Hello, Fabio. I can see your name. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine, you? Continue. Eccomi qua. How are you?
Fine, fine. Por fin. ¿Cómo dice en italiano? Per fine. Por fin. Finalmente.
Sì, finalmente. Esatto.
Good. Buongiorno. Well, buongiorno for me and buonasera.
Sì, buon pomeriggio per me.
Okay. So, how are you feeling? Is your arm okay today?
The arm is okay. I'm not very well as, you know, I'm a little confused, but if I will say something very weird, you know that it's for...
Okay, everything can be forgiven today.
Yes, yeah. Yes, I hope.
Yeah, well, I just sent you, Fabio, some, well, you see the records out there back at my back.
Fantastico,
Those are some of my vinyl records. And I even had your letter from '85. I was really amazed to see that it happened so long ago. Time makes me feel a little bit weird at times. It's difficult to understand.
No, it's I know. I just seen in WhatsApp you sent me that letter.
Yes.
And this is really, you know, you were one of the two people from whom I understood that the thing was getting interesting, because
okay.
You and another guy from Deutschland, from Germany.
Okay.
And you were writing to me, and you were very far from Europe. The other one, he came to Roma, but I did not meet him. But there was Luciana De Gemini. She was a great woman. She was the mom of Daniele, my actual manager and great friend. And she was Franco was simple. You did not meet them anywhere?
No, I got a letter from Luciana with some records. Yes.
Let's say that they were a family. You know, many of the structures in the world that work on music are families. I mean, they were a good family. He was the harmonica player for Morricone, for many other people. And then he decided, maybe you did not know.
No, not at all. No.
Franco started being the harmonica in c'era una volta il West, the theme from harmonica.
Sure.
You remember?
Sure.
That
yes.
Fantastic theme from Ennio, and the harmonica was Franco De Gemini, the husband of Luciana.
Oh, look at that. Amazing connections, yes.
Yeah, then he became to be a publisher, and then we met, and Luciana passed away, unfortunately, 3 or 4 years ago, but she was really a great friend of myself, and she always took care of also things that I did not do with them. She was a friend. I mean, they were friends.
But is Beat Records, does it still exist as a record company?
Yeah. There is Daniele and his brother Enrico. They are the two sons of the Gemini. And they say that Daniele works more on records, on CDs, vinyls, and Enrico is more for publishing situations.
Okay. Look, Fabio, just one little thing. I'm not sure how much time I have this Zoom account that is not, it's for free. Sometimes it cuts you at after 40-something minutes, but anything we can return to the call. I hope it doesn't happen. So I'm going to start. No. Yeah. Thank you. Well, first of all, Fabio, it's an honor and a pleasure for me to finally meet, although it's at a distance. I feel quite close because you're a very warm and friendly and talkative person. I always notice that, and that facilitates any conversation more than an interview. A formal word is like a conversation that was pending for like 36 years, as you see, you know.
This is. But I think this is my basic philosophy of life. If I don't feel the best way, I prefer don't do. But if I have the possibility to have, come si dice, una empathy. This is the best for working, for doing music, for doing interview, for staying with people. I love this kind of contact.
Well, imagine that I'm a teacher. I teach English, so I have to, you know, apply tons and tons of empathy every day, especially in this situation because it's difficult for some people, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for that you speak so well English.
Well,
because you are a teacher.
that's one reason. But I think, Fabio, I maybe could have even been a musician because I have very good ear, as they say. And I grew up with music in English and movies in English, so I think that helped a lot.
Absolutely, a lot.
Yeah. Well,
okay, let's go.
Yeah, formally saying things. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation, Fabio, and for the time you will share with me on my YouTube channel. I'm, you know, one of your longtime followers, so it's a real pleasure. So my first topic for you is, did you receive some family inheritance or influences as a musician, especially considering your dad's activity? He was a movie distributor, I guess.
Yes, of course. You can imagine that I grew since the beginning, since I was really a kid, in a family where the cinema was everyday interest and talkings. My dad was when I was born. He was starting, but after 4 years, when I was 4, we came to Roma. And he became the director for the distribution of the first one was ENIC, ENIC. It was a state company that was going to be closed because it came from the fascism. So new things were happening, and that after I think 1 week started with another great company that sure you know, which is was Euro International Films, a great production and distribution, and he was the Direttore Generale, so general manager. So every single day he came at home, eating with all the family and telling about that movie, the other movie, and that music, because that actor. So you can imagine that me and my brother both were so involved, so in love with because the show, and you know very well what I mean. It's something attractive for a young, for a baby, for a young man, and so absolutely yes. And when I started, I can admit it was a little bit easier that for other people that did not know the ambience, you know, of Italian cinema. More or less, when I was 18, when I was ending my liceo, my school, I knew more or less everybody. I knew Fellini. I met a lot of people. Sorry. Okay. My telephone.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, but so it's absolutely like this. It was in a way it was easier. In another way, it was not easy at all, because my dad did not want me to be a musician. He loved the fact that I studied music, that I had this love for music. But maybe he thought, you know, we are talking about the end of the 60s. He thought that maybe music was not a very good way to gain money for your life. So he wanted me to be a lawyer, and I went to the university, but in the meanwhile, I was trying to get contacts, and in the end I started. And in that situation, obviously, I was Fabio Frizzi, the son of Fulvio Frizzi, one man of the Italian cinema, absolutely.
All right. Now, obviously, I try to be well prepared for this conversation, Fabio. And one of the things that caught my attention was that watching some of your interviews and videos related to the Frizzi name, I realized your brother Fabrizio was a very important media person, and I really hadn't heard about his passing. So I'm really sorry about that. And I wanted to ask you if you were like influenced each other, or if he was an influence to you. What's your memory of Fabrizio today?
Yeah. Yes, you can imagine that it happened 3 years ago. He passed, and it's something that for me, till I will be alive, it will be something that is something I have to live with, because Fabrizio was my little brother. We obviously have grown together, and I can tell you that when I started studying music, more or less around my 14, 15, just afterwards, the same maestro that taught me guitar, because in the beginning I started with guitar, started teaching him piano. So we went on together. Then I had some experience in radio, and Fabrizio afterwards started with, he was absolutely a volcano. He was so communicative, and he started a great TV as entertainer, TV career. And he was in Italy till when he passed away. He was absolutely a #1 in the Italian TV show. And obviously we had many influence. I mean, you know, in an old style family like our, everybody is being, we say in Italiano, fare il tifo, be pray for the success of everybody, your brother, your dad, and everything. So Fabrizio was aside me, and I was aside you all these years, and he loved music so much. He had studied, and in a way, I'm sure that he was very happy of his career. But many times he told me that maybe he thought that music was something really incredible. Difficult, yeah. But no, he knew that maybe because of my character, I was always. He told me many times, you could be more lucky. But I think that making a line nowadays I'm almost 70. I think that yeah, I was lucky enough.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. You know, something else I was really amazed to see when you started touring the United States and all that, because I always thought that, okay, Fabio Frizzi is an important musician. Lucio Fulci is known, but not as big as other names really. And Beat Records is not a big company. So I was really happy for you, because then I thought, oh, so the new generations are coming to approaching the movies and the music. So that was great, really. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, but you know, in that moment we could we could stay in a place of the Italian cinema. I mean, over then, the 70s and the 80s, a space where we could work. I mean, it was, you know, the B movies genre, the genre movies.
Yeah.
And over there, young people could do something. The other, the high level cinema was very difficult to be reached from younger composers, because there were Morricone, Nino Rota, Rustichelli, Ortolani, many great composers and maestro. And then, you know, the time goes, and nowadays when I go around, people say, "But you are a great maestro as well." Okay, thank you.
Is that Paolo Rustichelli, correct? Correct,
Rustichelli? Paolo, yeah, but Paolo is the son of
okay.
Yeah, no, because
I know I know the Opera Prima album. That's fantastic with Carlo Bordini. I love that record. Yeah, I love it. So I didn't know that his dad was the Rustichelli.
You should maybe I will send you some information, because Carlo Rustichelli was one of the great composers for cinema. Maybe you know another. It's very Italian one, but he was loved also in the States. Jeremy, it was a director. Maybe you don't know.
No.
Jeremy was a great director for neo-realism Italian cinema.
Okay.
And Pietro Germi, to be exact.
Okay.
And Carlo Rustichelli was his composer, but he worked also for many other directors. And he was I don't know how to say in English, il decano, the older of our category.
The dean.
The dean, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I met him, and he was a great. But and Paolo is the son, is a good son of a great father.
Yeah, like father, like son.
Like father, like son.
Yeah. You know how they say it in Spanish, by the way, if you like Spanish?
No. How could they say?
De tal palo tal astilla. Astilla is a chip from the wood. Astilla is a little piece. De tal palo tal astilla, yeah. So that was your Spanish lesson of today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Now, if we move on, Fabio, were you ever interested in a horror genre when maybe you read comics, or if you ever were interested in movies or reading horror books before you even thought you would come to, put music to movies?
No, yeah. I have to say that the only things of fumetti, as we call in Italian, were Topolino, Mickey Mouse, a lot. I read a lot of this. I was great. And then some adventure. Maybe, I don't know if you know, but some like Diabolic or Nembo Kid was Superman. In Italy was Nembo Kid. And I still have many books, but not horror, more thriller, more things like this, superheroes. But
okay.
But I couldn't imagine, absolutely.
So it was a coincidence that you were called to this. Right. So what are some impressions on Mr. Fulci, Lucio Fulci? How did you meet, and did he give you freedom to score his movies? How did it work? How did the relation work?
Lucio was a great person, and he's maybe the most important director and experience I had. Also, if I had many of them, many good directors and good friends. Lucio is something special for many reasons. I met him the night our publisher told us that maybe we could score a Western called Quattro dell'Apocalisse. And it was the first time, it was a couple of years I had started my career. I started in 73, and now we are in 75. We go with my trio, because the trio Bixio, Frizzi, Tempera has started. My 5 years marriage with Franco Bixio and Vince Tempera. And we went there. It was a small, like a cinema, where they were doing the screening of the pre-edit of the Quattro dell'Apocalisse. So we were in the last row in the production, and the director in the first one. So, and then the film was a beautiful movie. Then I think we wrote also a not bad score. And in the end of this screening, we went down and we met Lucio. We met also the producers. And Lucio, that was the first time I met him, and the last time was in Gatto nel Cervello, when we did it. So more or less 15 years, with also moments of pause. But Lucio was somebody that Lucio knew very well his job. He knew how to work with this kind of artigianato, no? He was somebody who, if you could see him on set, he knew perfectly what he wanted from everybody of us, of his crew. So concerning music, Lucio was one man who knew very, very well music. He also played. He had many friends at high level in the jazz and things. But I cannot say that he was in a way pressing myself. And he was. I think he understood. He had many composers who had written for him before me. I mean, if you take a look, there are Morricone, Ortolani, many great composers. But I think when we started, for example, the horror period, which was very important for me and for him, he just give me the impression we had to give to our audience. I mean. It was very clear, telling in this moment with adjectives, with clear ideas. So he could drive my mentality, my composing ideas in the right direction. I must say, you know, as often happens with the fathers, when you lose your father, sometimes you can catch some pieces of paper where it tells something so beautiful about you, but maybe he never told you, because sometimes fathers are very in the old generation, like my father. I don't want to tell so much to my son, for example. And when you discover that he thought beautiful things, you still remain like this. Fantastic. So my dad loved me so much. The same thing when I met again Antonella Fulci, the daughter, some years ago. We met again before the Frizzi to Fulci project, and she told me so many beautiful things about what Lucio thought about me, not only as a composer but also as person. And this is something that for me was a great gift.
Right, interesting. Now, I also have seen some movies by Lamberto Bava, and I know Mario Bava and all that generation. That's so interesting, especially visually speaking. Would you give me some impressions on Mr. Lamberto Bava?
Lamberto, the only regret I have about Lamberto it's that I worked not so much with him, just 2 movies. Lamberto is still a good friend. Sometimes we meet for a beer and for telling stories. But he's a great person, molto simpatico, very very nice guy. But we just did 2 movies. In a very difficult moment of production, because for both of the movies he wanted more budget, but always problems about this. But I can tell you, I know that you love one of them, which is Blast Fighter. I think you remember.
You mentioned that on your letter. You said that it would be published. I don't forget.
And I can tell you that, for example, we are with my label in Italy, and with Daniele, with Beat, we are going maybe to release for the first time all the music of Blast Fighter. So Lamberto, another very very molto caliente.
You mean temperamental?
Grande temperamento, assolutamente. But another people I work really well with. It was the moment of we were talking about 85, 84, I think, more or less. And this was the moment in which I was also working with Lucio a lot. So it was a horror and moment for music and the ideas. And for one thing that I did for him, I remember also the influences of a great movie like Blade Runner, which was we came the year before. Last week I did an interview about this, and it's my movie, my absolute movie, Blade Runner, and I think that Vangelis is one of our colleague, one of the top colleagues we have.
Can you give me a reason why this is your movie? Obviously, it's obvious. The answer is obvious, but visually it's stunning in many ways.
I can tell you one thing that maybe can be stupid, but I feel it very much. I think that sometimes for artists, when you do something, a movie, a book, a song, a theme, there is like something like the opera, the art goes more in a point more interesting than what you wanted to give. I mean, I think that Blade Runner has a great story. It was a novel, very loved, important. There are fantastic actors. There is a great study on la scenografia and everything. But through this can be a good movie. I think that the messages that movie gives, to me at least, are more that the one the director wanted to give. It's so important. It's like the real philosophy of life through the ideas of somebody who is not human, but to understand very well human problems. So it touches me a lot.
All right, interesting. Now, you know that I detected this long ago. Oh, my cat is asking for something. Sorry.
I have two as well over there.
You have two cats? Oh, nice. Yeah, they are amazing creatures. Well, I once asked you about, I was hearing some sounds that were familiar to me. And I said, yeah, you know, I mentioned goblins. How did you become involved with these people? I think Mauricio Guarini is one of your friends. I don't know. Maybe you met other people from other rock bands in those days. So what can you tell me about that?
I can tell you that let's say that my musical origins are very strange and very
diverse.
So many. Yeah. Because I love classical music. I loved so much Bach. Everybody knows that for me Bach is the top absolute. I think that after him we could also not write any music anymore, because he did really everything in a way, because it was 3 centuries ago. But there is everything in Bach, harmonies, rhythms, everything. But afterwards, many other people made good music. One of the way rock music and popular music were mixed with the classical ideas was the prog, the progressive rock. And after being in love more or less with the pop, with the Beatles, with the West Coast bands, I understood also through my brother, who was younger and he loved so much, for example, Genesis, the group, the English group. So I see, fantastic, absolutely. And so I started, and I met also the band, and King Crimson. So the first time I met somebody in Roma who played very well, very, very well this kind of music, was meeting the first Simonetti and Pignatelli band. Before they were in the same situation, come si dice, edizione musicale, in the same
editing room.
No, not editing, publishing, publishing group of myself. No, because Carlo Bixio had taken this group as well as myself. So I met them in one day in a recording room, and they were doing some incredible things with Moog, with Hammond organ, and Fabio Pignatelli with this bass incredible, without without keys, no, the bass without. doing some solo, and I understood that these there were people in Roma who could play very well this kind of things. So they started more or less with me, because we did one movie together for Carlo Bixio. And then we were friends. We were friends. We loved more or less the same music, from here to here. I mean, the good music. We say, you know, there is a phrase, very stupid, but very real, that there are only two musical genres: the good music and the bad music. Then in every one of these, you can find many sub-genres. There is a fantastic music in electronic, in classical, in pop, in rock, and I love to work with good musicians. So after the trio, they the Goblin, and also Maurizio, who was and Maurizio was not a Goblin in the beginning. He joined them after some time, and for doing some keyboards. That they divided with Simonetti. You know, Simonetti played something and Maurizio played some other.
Maybe Fabio, they were the Cherry Red days, the Cherry Red era, the pre-Goblin.
Yeah, they had various bands. Also the Cherry Red, but the first one was called, I don't know if they published, they released them, but the first one was called Oliver. Maybe you find some news about this. And then from there, let's say from the horror, from the 80s, from 1980, I started working a lot with them. I loved their mood. Agostino Marangolo at drums, Fabio Pignatelli as bass player. The guitarists were friends of each other. There were many. So in fact, I decided to follow in a way this kind of sound, and so it became a Fabio Frizzi sound, as well as in sometimes the Goblin sound.
Yeah, Agostino is a monster, huh? By the way, I saw
Agostino.
Goblin live. Yeah, he's amazing. I saw the shows in Austin, Texas on a DVD or Blu-ray, and he's really amazing. Yeah. I was,
Agostino, I can tell you, last time, it was 3 years ago in Stockholm. I was there. They were playing, and I was obviously a guest. And I met them in the backstage, and I put myself aside the
stage.
Okay, aside the stage, just looking at Agostino, because it's a show. Seeing the choice that he does, and with the small things. Agostino, they are all really great musicians with a taste, incredible taste. Yeah. So you write a good theme. You work with them to realize, and you have always great results.
Yeah, you get more than what you imagine. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, because also if you write a melody and you play it, it will be different in intention from mine, because everybody works in a piece of music, gives something. Imagine them. They were fantastic, really fantastic.
Well, in fact, I would like to have the chance to talk to some of them one day, like we're talking right now. I think that I made contact with Massimo or a couple of them.
Massimo Morante.
Yeah, I think it was him, because I became a fan when I saw the Dawn of the Dead here in Chile back in 78, 79. Yeah, that was the first time. And there comes a question that I have for you, Signore Frizzi, about this very special sound that made me puzzled, as they say in English. My question goes like this: could you comment on, Fabio, the unusual approach of some beautiful and melodic tunes for some visually very strong sequences, especially on the Fulci movies, where somebody's slashing somebody, and the music, for example, on I don't know, maybe I don't know the perfect sequences that the music is associated with. But for example, I was checking my records last night. Baby sequence 2 in Manhattan. Baby is amazingly beautiful. It's like a song that could be or should be on the radio, and on any radio, so to speak. So I was amazed because I saw that Goblin would play like rock that wouldn't sound scary or wasn't related in the feeling to a scary sequence. So I would like you to tell me something about it.
It's something that the thing is that when you leave things like this, you don't understand. I am very natural. I always be. I am a lot instinctive, no, in my way of working, of writing. So over then I couldn't ask myself many things, but I was following, and I can tell you that now, after a lot of time, and then also rereading those
scores,
themes, those scores for my shows, for rewriting for my shows, I understood something that everybody is telling me. I think I am as a character. I'm quite come si dice?
Optimistic?
No,
brilliant, happy.
No, I am nostalgic. I am quite nostalgic, and I think that a little nostalgia is in every passage of our life. Also in joys, no, there is always a little flavor, not bitter, but you understand me, no? I mean, there is no the great joy has always some thoughts, something that involve you in other, not in a. So I noticed that in many situations when they ask me to comment, to tell a story very dramatic, sometimes if you go in that direction, you have a good result. People understand and follow the scene. Maybe the best way. Maybe obviously I try to do my job and to do the best way. But many people tell me you have a line of nostalgia almost everywhere, and maybe this is one of my sign of my characteristic, and I love it.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to say that there's some reminiscence of something positive from other situations. Maybe not. You don't. I mean, maybe when you make music for the movies, it's not necessary to make something that is obvious for the image.
No, absolutely. But for example, many times people ask me, but what is the need in horror, in an horror score? Obviously, if you think you think what I could put, there is blood, and there is a woman who cries. It's something very strong. Nowadays we have so many sounds in the computer, you know, so many we can just effects, and we can just do and everything works. And this is true till a certain point. I mean, I think that if you don't keep people by their hand and bring them in the middle, maybe they can remain out. A little out, because it's obvious, no? Okay, don't. Everybody can do like something, not just a composer. Come si chiama lo squalo, no? The shark was like this because it's in the beginning. It was John Williams. It was an orchestral idea, fantastic. But if I go on doing don, I know it's too obvious. So I think that. No, and you think one thing that I always say when I do some lessons on composing, you must wear the script and the story. And if you do like this, you start having the feelings of what you can say musically to tell that story, because you must be one part of this. Otherwise, if you think this from the exterior, you cannot give anything to anybody.
You were mentioning that you know, believe it or not, Fabio, I wrote a letter to a very important newspaper here in Santiago, Chile, back in the mid-'80s, criticizing John Williams, whom I respect a lot because I love his Dracula score for 1979 movie. But I'm a big fan of Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky. I grew up as a fan of that. But when I saw Fantasia by Disney, I became crazy.
Bravo.
Yeah, and Mussorgsky's Night on Bald Mountain. But then that's what I think possibly George Lucas must have shown John Williams. That's Shark. That's Jaws. And I thought that was very, very dishonest of his part. But he went too far for the inspiration. You know what I mean? I know. In film composing, directors show sometimes musicians tracks that they like, that they tell, well, this is the direction I would like to get from you. But then I thought that Mr. Williams loved so much the track by Mr. Igor Stravinsky that he stuck too much to it. But anyway,
I can tell you one thing, to be honest. It can happen. It can happen. Only not wanting to do it and not willing. I mean, you have something, you take this idea, you go on, and then maybe it's similar to something else. It's many times also, I think that it can happen also to me. But it makes part of our job, I think.
yeah, it's interesting. Well, one question, you were talking about these the guys from Goblin and other bands, Rusty Kelly. Have you ever considered, Fabio, making your own music within that, within a world or area that could be tagged or classified as progressive rock or fusion or something like it, out of the soundtrack world? Because I think you would make a great record. I mean, your personal creations would be interesting to hear. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. Records by Fabio Frizzi, not for the movies.
No, you're telling something that these days, many of my musicians, the group, the band that I go through the world with, 2 or 3 of them tells me very, very often, why don't you write a record without images to tell? And because many people has done it, and they say more or less what you're saying. And I can tell you that I'm thinking about this. It's not easy because, in a way, having an image to comment for one person like me who does this job is easier. I mean, if I have to make a preludio telling my friend that you are, now I met you, I know your face, I know you, and maybe in 3 minutes I write down a line for it's your music, telling my friend Landaita. But obviously, if you write something, I could do come si chiamavano? An album with one story, a concept album, like in the 60s, I should try. It's quite late because I'm old.
No, it's never too late, Fabio. And you could make your own, these classical. There are so many new progressive bands, but I still stick to the old classics, like Selling England by the Pound, Close to the Edge.
Mamma mia.
Yeah. So, and let me tell you, the first time I saw a picture of you with a guitar, I was like not confused, but I had the idea of something electronic. Maybe I didn't see a picture of you playing the keyboards, and the sound of your records for Fulci is totally different. I mean, you have guitar on some of the tracks, but I've been imagining what a record by Fabio Frizzi would sound like, and I think it would sound really interesting, very interesting. Maybe not with long pieces, but your own music out of the soundtrack world. That's my suggestion.
I can tell you that you are the third friend in a few days that says this. So if ever I will do it, you will be on dedication. in the back of the record.
That will be an honor. Thank you very much. Well, what's the importance of what has been the importance, Fabio, of Beat Records in your career? I think that Beat Records seems to be a family record company. I told you that Luciana, you say the Gemini, kindly sent me some of the Beat LPs, including some of your records back in the mid 80s. So was this an important step for you to be part of the record company? Beat?
Yeah, but I can tell you that in Italy, except some great groups like BMG, like Sony, since I was younger, many families were the base of the good publishing reality. Consider that Bixio, it's another family. No, Carlo Bixio was the chief. The old Bixio was the old chief, Cesare Andrea, and then Franco, my associated, no, but it was a family also over there, and then and many others. The Beat record is the Gemini family, and as I was telling you before, I just do a small fast line of what they how they were born. They came from Torino in Roma. With many friends, a great friendship with musicians in the field of jazz, because in Torino there was a great school of jazz, many good musicians. So Franco the Gemini, the boss, came in Roma with his wife, and he started to do the musician with the harmonica. He was one of the most important harmonica players in Roma, and in Roma I met two of them, and he was for sure the best. He used the chromatica, the one for people who know harmonica. It's the one with you tap and you have every note, not the blues one. He was playing in the chromatica one. And many maestro like Morricone, like many asked him to play also in very important movie. And so he understood that maybe he wanted to find a larger place in the field of music, and so he founded the Beat Records, who was first of all a publishing company. With a great activity also in discographic, doing records. So and there is one. You were telling something about Manhattan Baby just before. I can tell you, and I tell you everybody, that maybe of all Fulci soundtracks is the one I love the best, because it's.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just opening the window from my cat, so sorry.
Okay. So I think that and that one, Manhattan Baby, I did it with Beat Record. It was Franco the Gemini, and then I can say that they remained. Their office is very near my house. It's 5 minutes walking from here. So and I used to live here, was the house of my parents back then. So they were near. They were a place where to go drinking a coffee and talking about things. A beautiful family, a really beautiful family. So Luciana, who used to speak all French and English very well, was helping me to have contact with my friends, like you were, and other people. Franco helped me to situation in contracts and things. So I did not work a lot with them, but they helped me to work in other directions. Then, when unfortunately they passed away, both the dad and mom, Daniele became my agent, and the adventure of Frizzi to Fulci was born with him.
Right. And a question, you were talking about Bixio, and of course I know I relate Goblin with Cinebox. They were Cinebox, yeah.
Esatto. Sì, Carlo Bixio was the was the boss when I entered that in the 71, more or less. And the idea of Carlo was to collecting, for example, many child of artists, young, the second generation. No, Simonetti had a father who was composer, and it was very, very known in Italy. So Carlo asked the son Claudio to enter. Pignatelli was with Claudio, so they entered together. Me, I was the son of a person who worked in the cinema. So he collected this young force. And so Goblin was born there. The Goblin was born just for, there was that group I was telling you about before. They played fantastic. A real progressive band that played, I think, you were telling that you know many progressive band of them, like Balletto di Bronzo, like Premiata Forneria, Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, Premiata Forneria Marconi. But they interpreted in an Italian way that I love so much, that idea. My friends Goblin were like if they were English. They used to play correctly that situation. So Carlo had this group. When Argento asked for a great English band for Profondo Rosso, Carlo said, "I have it, this one," and they had a good relation, and everything started.
All right. Now, I would like to take you back for a while to the days of Fabio Frizzi as a radio host back in the mid-70s, when you were telling me the other day that you would play Peter Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah, fantastic.
How come? I never imagined.
No, I think, you know, Roma 1975, 1975, Roma. In Roma, we had the first, it was maybe 2-3 years I had started my career, but you know, the beginning is always the beginning. So yeah, I had done 3-4 movies, but who knows tomorrow, no? And in Roma, they were the first we called private radios. There were radios that people, young people, maybe with a little money, they could buy something for transmit to the city. They put it on top of the building, and they started. You know very well this because you worked a lot in the same field, I think. And so one day I arrived to promote one movie in one radio, you know, for promoting. No, you go and you say, today in that cinema there is this movie, and the movie was Vai Gorilla with Fabio Testi, and film by Tonino Valeri. I went because it was a music by the trio, but I was in Roma, and they told Fabio, you go with Fabio Testi, you go to talk with that radio. So I went in this small studio with Fabio, which is very tall, and myself, I'm not so piccolo. We went and we talk about the movie, the music, and the cinemas and everything. When la trasmissione, the emission was ended, the live, those guys, there were 3-4 guys. They asked me, but you, I was 24, 25. You, they were more or less my age. You have many friends in cinema, in theater. I do this job. Yes, I know. Could you come and have a show yourself? And I don't know if I know how to do it, but we can try. So we started with a show called Indovina chi viene dopo cena. Guess who will come after dinner. And I had many good guests, and like for example Ettore Scola came to me, the director, and Paolo Villaggio, that you maybe don't know very well, but is Fantozzi, are one of the most important comedy people in Italy, and many. And one night, I don't know if you know him in the south of America, but came also Alberto Sordi, one of the icons of our comedy cinema in Italy. So that went, I think, a couple of years. Then I was back in my usual career, but I love radio, and I'm ready to do it also tomorrow.
Good, interesting. Did you ever interview Morricone, I guess, or people like those, composers?
No, Morricone not, but because he was quite difficult. I was in touch with him, and I would have many things to say, but it was not an easy character. So I think I didn't. For example, Piero Piccioni, for example, was very easy, fantastic. I knew every one of them, obviously, because I was a young composer in love with the Italian musicians. But no, but in that situation, no.
I think Piccioni is on the back of the Manhattan Baby record. He has they Beat Records put a score by him. Yeah. So
sí.
Manhattan Baby is one side, and the B side or side 2 is Piccioni.
Maybe yes, fantastic.
Yeah. Okay,
you
so
know, we met very well in studio because we worked more or less in the same studios in Roma.
Okay, I haven't heard from him lately. I mean, is he still? Do you think he's still making music?
Piero Piccioni?
Yeah.
No, Piero is not. Is no more with us.
Well, I didn't know. Okay.
No. He was quite old. I mean, unfortunately, it's not more.
Okay. Now back to the vinyl topic, Fabio. How do you like the format, and how do you explain, in a way, the fever of the comeback of vinyl these days? Because I've seen some pictures of you hanging, holding some color records. And it's quite crazy that the new generations are so much into vinyl these days, which I, of course, love. What's your view of that?
No, I think, I can tell you that when one day they arrived to us composers, to us musicians, said, no more analogic, now it's time of digital. And everybody said, oh, fantastic, listen with the headphones. Fantastic. You can hear everything. It's so clear. I had some doubt, like for the vaccine today.
Oh, yeah.
Some doubt, I think I had. Because I thought that the analogic was warmer, was, I don't know, I always loved the vinyl. But, when vinyl was no more possible because the costs and everything, okay. Then we started with the CDs. I'm full of my production because, from all the things and new things. Okay. Then one day, 5 years ago, not 5 years, 2013, the beginning of Frizzi to Fulci. There was in London a friend who had a new label just born and asked me to put Zombie 2 on this first record. It was That Waltz recording. And I thought to myself, why on the vinyl? And he says, in London, it's growing the interest. So I went over there in London, I did the shows, and understood that the future was in fact the past. Everybody was discovering I think that the reasons are many. For young, I am a child over there, 16, so I am in touch with very young generation. The first thing is the touch is. I mean, if you take a CD, yeah, you can, but it's small. You can read with difficulty when you have.
Oh, what is he going to come back with?
Ah,
Oh, look at that.
when you have a vinyl, this is one that came out for this is one of my vinyl recent, and you just open.
Lovecraft. What? H.P.
Yeah,
Lovecraft.
I will tell you many things if you want about this. You open this, and I open with you, and
Oh, wow.
you find the beautiful things.
Of course, you can read while you listen to. Yeah.
And then you can put into many things about Lovecraft and Fabio and many things. So it's something that you can have a relation with. I mean, first of all, because it's un oggetto. It's a beautiful thing that you can have a relation with. Then you put it in the turntable, and I don't do this for you now because we must go ahead. And you can feel the vibrations. You can feel it's the thing. I think it's something very, very live. There is a lot of life in a vinyl. Then you imagine the painters can do beautiful things, and so I think it's you know what, maybe you know because you are more or less linked to the field. But nowadays, in Italy, in France, in the United States, if you want to print one of these, you have to wait 6-7 months because the plants are all full of this. And for me, it's a shame because many things are in the line, but it's a joy because I think that music is winning again.
Yeah.
Okay.